Robinson, all the way in Switzerland. And you're tuning into the Fire Radio. And you're listening to the
African Bliss show every Monday to Friday. Talk to you.
I need you in like when I'm saying if you're not just another day, you know just touch my day. So this time is first day. So you are like would you be my one and only woman? Aisha.
from Monday to Friday. Thank you. And we're out.
Yes, family, karibuni sana to another beautiful episode of the Pan-African Bliss right here on the Black Fire Network radio station. And of course, a blessed Friday. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Hope your week has been fantastic. The first week of the year of 2024. I hope you're doing amazing. I hope it has been amazing. And of course, karibuni sana to yet another beautiful conversation. It is exactly 12 minutes past 1 p.m. right here in the 254. And of course, karibuni sana to all the amazing people listening to us right straight all the way from the continent. And of course, those who are from all the way from America, from Jamaica, wherever you are listening to me from, karibuni sawa. Remember, in case this is your first time right here, this is the media of the 21st century. We are the #1 online radio station. We are located in Kenya, in Uganda, in US, Florida. We shall be coming soon also into South Africa. We're looking forward to expand into different sectors. But karibuni sana once again. They call me JOBY. And of course, today we shall be having an amazing conversation. And trust you me, I don't know if you're feeling the Friday vibe, but for me, I'm excited. Literally, I'm so excited. And I just hope nothing is going to shut up my mood away. Because I woke up to literally mountains of love, and I'm just super grateful. And that's why I'm feeling the Otile Brown vibe, because this guy, yeah, just takes love to another different whole level. But karibuni sana, today shall be having a very amazing conversation focused on Italy and what Giorgia Meloni had to say. This is amazing because I'll be sharing some videos of a couple of things she had to say years back when we saw her calling out on France for exploiting Burkina Faso. And of course the people, she did also mention about the Congolese people, all the Tesla, the telephones where they are made, all the phones, literally all these resources are coming from the continent, but the African people are living on the bottom. So I'll be showing part of that video, and we're right now, or rather today, or a couple of hours ago, where she came out and spoke of where she feels like Africa does not need charity. Africa cannot develop through charity. What it requires and what it needs is to be done in Africa is to build cooperation and serious strategic relationships that equals no predators. And I kind of sort of agree with it, because if you look at the people who have been benefiting when you talk about cooperation, I think we've talked about this for quite some time. And we've seen when it comes to cooperation, Africa never benefits in anything. I've been speaking about AGOA, which is Africa Opportunity Act of Growth. If I'm Africa Growth Opportunity Act, that is how it's supposed to be, AGOA. And we've seen that so far what it allows Africa to do is just, export resources or products that is duty free. And despite all this, what is the percentage, or what value do we gain from this? Because we've been talking about this. We've seen where Uganda right now is being sanctioned because of not accepting the anti-gay law into their country. And majority of the countries are facing the same thing. We're talking about Gabon, we're talking about Niger. We saw recently also the Central Republic also was sanctioned because of, I don't know what's the reason behind it. But we shall be following, and of course I want to tackle this because I kind of sort agree with what she says when it comes to where we don't need predators if you're cooperating. We need equality. But who are we talking about again? Because when we speak about videos, and a lot of comments I've been reading out through towards the end of the year, and of course beginning of the year, Africans are getting to realize that we do not, and we've never had people called friends. We've never had friends. Africa has literally been its own friends, and the only thing that has literally taken us so far and much time for us to realize is because of the division of the borders and tribalism that we have so much in the continent. That is shall be our bigger discussion. I also want to talk about what the US government has to say about South Africa, because this week we did have South Africa filing a case that is against Israel because of the genocide they are committing. But the US did shun away this yesterday, and they say that this is all just nonsense. It is not true. Israel is innocent. But we shall be talking about this because, mind you, we're talking about a country that holds, or rather is the big five of BRICS. And this is why when I question this week, if you guys are seeing if BRICS is going to take over, as much as we understand it's a backup of the US, collapsing. They knew this is going to come. Are we sure? Because of what South Africa is doing and being the big five of BRICS, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Because BRICS was first formed by 3 countries, where we had South Africa joined in 2010, but we had Brazil, we had Russia, we had Iran, and we also had China. But South Africa ended up joining. That was in 2010. But again, I'm questioning: are we sure? Because of what South Africa is trying to do, and we understand so far, so good, who control the world, or rather, who Israel is, what they have been doing, even to the United States when it comes to the taxes and paying of taxes. So, karibuni sana. That is the big discussion we shall be having today. And of course, I began with an amazing banger that was Otile Brown featuring Harmonize, all the way from 255 Tanzania. And the name of the jam is Woman. The next jam is still by him, Nabite. Hope you guys get to enjoy it. I really love me Otile Brown. And because I woke up to just so much love today, shout out to everyone who just made it possible. If you know how, I'm just really, really grateful. Shout out to you, Chris. Karibu sana. Yes, I remember we shall be coming back with the quote of the day, quote of the week. We're getting into the weekend. What are the plans for the first week of the first weekend of the year? Sorry. Big up to Simon. Big up to Tom and Jerry. Big up to Chella. Karibuni sana. My quote of the day today is just very simple. Happy weekend. Love, live, laugh, learn, play, relax, enjoy, dream, and just be happy. That is my quote of the day. And I hope you guys stay blessed. I hope. Yes, and of course, welcome back. This is the Blackout Fire Network radio station, media of the 21st century. And of course, I'd love to take this minute to just remind you to download our app on the Google Play Store. In case you do not have our app, kindly go to the Google Play Store and of course, look for Blackout Fire Network and you'll be able to find us there. And once again, one thing I'd love to remind you, as you stream via the Blackout Fire Network app, you can be able to use other apps. All you need to do is just log in once and tap exit just once, not twice, because it asks you to exit either twice or once. Just exit once by tapping either the middle button and going back to the other apps. And of course, you can chat with your family, friends, post whatever you want on Instagram, on your email, chat with your people, your bosses, whatever, your employees. And of course, as you are able to stream on the Blackout Fire Network app. Also, you are given the opportunity to purchase merchandise. And in case you are also a business-oriented person and you'd love to advertise with us, we are also giving you the chance to. Our number is 0705-428-388. Communicate with us and let us know how would you love us to collaborate with you. Karibuni sana once again. Big up to you, Chama, and big up to you, Tom and Jerry, once again. Why Tom and Jerry, though? Nice to see you, the Karibu Sana. Today, like I said, we shall be talking about Italy. That is where our major discussion shall be focused on. But something I talked about, and of course, that has been happening throughout this week, and I want to tackle on it again, was about our Kenyan president. Yesterday, we saw that the Kenyan president came out and spoke of where we have corrupt judges. And I don't know what led to this, because I feel like there's something that led to all this discussion, where he just popped out and said that he shall no longer be able to deal with corrupt people or those who are going to terminate the projects he has coming for the government or his country. But despite this, I still see that there's information coming out that came out actually yesterday in the evening, and he still went ahead and defended himself and stood to his ground towards what he said, where he shall not again deal with corrupt judges. And he went ahead, because I remember when I was reading the article yesterday, it read where the opposition leader, he said that the opposition leader and the judges and the cartels, opposition leader and cartels are working towards destroying the projects he has for the government, or rather the government of Kenya. And when I tried to ask myself again, because I questioned this, who are the cartels? Because if you look at what I was talking about yesterday, the practicing of corruption, these are started from the higher point of the people who lead us, the people who control the economy of this country, the laws of this country, the services of this country. So who are the cartels? Because if you look at how the police officers operate, first thing foremost, which is very simple, who is a cartel right here? You're not paying your people well, one. Then they end up even now of harassing us because you're not paying them well. They end up becoming the cartels, and they misuse power. That is where the cartelism, if there's such a term, comes from. Where the power of you feeling like you are a cartel comes from. Because I have the power of the gun. How many people have we seen dying because of police brutality? I mean, so many. So many. So my biggest question, and of course to all my listeners, I mean, what do you think between the judges who Ruto is calling the cartels and him himself? Who is the cartel right here? And of course, if these people are cartels, it must have come from someone who has shown them how to be cartels. That is how I'm trying to usually analyze this, because if you remember my yesterday conversation was corrupt promotion under corruption, which is what happens. We have corrupt people. We have usually people who have been promoted in different areas, in different sectors, but this is because of corruption and under corruption. I mean, that is just the pure truth. But earlier, yesterday, BBC did report that the judges in Kenya had condemned the country president for threatening to disobey court's order. Despite these calls to respect the judiciary, President William Ruto has again pledged to root out individuals he believes are sabotaging his government through court orders and injunctions. While acknowledging that there are honest judicial officers, the president insisted that no single cent should be used to bribe any officer. Excuse me? Then I want to read, because I was to read this yesterday, but I forgot. Then after I was done with my show, I was like, God damn, I didn't read that. I want to read this. It was from Boniface Mwangi's page, where he had a message to President William Ruto when he spoke of Boniface. Okay. When he spoke of the corrupt judges, and Boniface had a very strict message for this guy. So I want to read it out, and of course, I want you guys to let me know what you guys think. I don't know if he pulled it down, because I also think he speaks in fear. All right. Here we have it. So he said, we have corrupt judges, dirty magistrates. That's a fact, and that is true, and that is not a lie, because yes, that is true. When you speak of people not getting justice, this is what we're talking about, corruption, where most of the people are only if you don't have money. We know in Africa it is so hard. I'm not talking about Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Congo. This is in Africa. And maybe probably anywhere in the world. If you don't have money, forget about justice. It's either you bribe your way in or sit down and relax, baby. You don't own the country and you're not part of the shareholders. You remember what they said? Hell yeah. So this is what Boniface Mwangi says. We have corrupt judges, dirty magistrates. That's a fact. Ruto and Rigathi and at least half of his cabinet are in office because they are able to compromise judicial officers to acquit them and their friends. I mean, that is the truth. The current Attorney General, Justin Muturi, was once a magistrate who was arrested for allegedly receiving 1 million Kenyan shillings bribe in 1997. If our judiciary was quickly clean, half of the loud mouths in UDA, which is his party, would be in jail. However, just because Ruto and his people have had their way in past with corruption, judges don't give him any power to undermine or discredit the entire judiciary. In the cabinet meeting, he has people who were once charged with murder, rape, corruption, and all manner of violent crimes and got away because they paid off the prosecution in the judiciary. And of course, I'd love to take you back. Shout out to you, Awesome Show. Nice to see you. And of course, thank you so much for following the host. I appreciate. Let me know what you think about what I'm reading and where are you listening to me from. And let me know what's funny as well. So this is true, because just pausing on this before I even continue the article of what Boniface Mwangi wrote down on his Instagram page, you can check it out. Is said, or that in 2007 election where we had William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta, these two people, remember, they were supposed and they were appearing at the International Criminal Court. The reason behind it is because they were charged with different crimes. Rape, one of them. Taking over lands forcefully, remember, where we had people being burnt on the church. I presented the article some time back and the video. And a lot of things that happened in 2007 that these two culprits were involved. But what happened? During time, thank you so much. From Mombasa, nice to see you. What do you understand about the current situation of what Ruto is talking about corrupt judges? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know. After that, during time, as they appear in the International Criminal Court, we saw that witnesses started disappearing. We saw people who had evidences started disappearing. Judges started changing the case. This is where corruption comes in. Because they easily got away with what they did. And this is because it was in favor of those who control the country. Because at that time, that was supposed to happen so that the leadership that was supposed to take over to do so. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. This was meant to happen because there's no things called as coincidence. This was well planned. And this is why you see every time we have elections in Africa, there's a fuel of violence coming from the West. Or be careful, or the Western, the US citizens kindly evacuate from places like Kisumu, Nakuru, all these, especially tribalistic places that have been fueled through the oppositions or the opposition parties. This has been going on. So question yourself, who is corrupt right here? Because whatever Boniface Mwangi is talking about is super, super true. He goes ahead and breaks it down and says, the president has enough personnel at the National Intelligence Service, the DCI, the Ethics and Anti-Corrupt Commission, that is the EACC, who can be mandated to gather evidence to prosecute corrupt judges. Discrediting the entire judiciary is a weak punch. Last year, he blamed the opposition for failings in his government. He has now started blaming the judiciary, and soon he will blame the voters who elected him for giving him a job that he is unable to do. Because that's the fact. This guy, and watch, this is what they do. Even if you were to have, because this is what this government is speaking of right now, how they're looking forward to lead in the next in a decade. They're supposed to be in a decade. Because the plans that are being revealed every single day showcase the government of Ruto is here for a decade, not for 5 years. Why are you giving us a 10-year gap plan when you're supposed to be here for only 5 years? So much has been revealed and he keeps on talking about, oh, this is a 10-year project. Are you supposed to be there involved in a 5-year project or a 10-year project? But the fact of what Boniface Mwangi says, this guy is in control of not only the NIS, the DCI, the EACC, and he can be able to gather all the evidences and prosecute the corrupt judges, but he won't do so. Why? Last year, he blamed the opposition. He also blamed Uhuru Kenyatta, and he was the deputy president for this government failing and the economic crisis getting to how sour they are right now. Like what Boniface is saying, next we're going to be blamed for voting for him because he's unable to deliver his job. What are the manifestos he promised to give people in the first year of his term? Where are they? Apart from the hustler fund, yenye hata isaidii watu, tukue too honest. Majority of the people who have used this hustler fund, they are even buying food. They are depending on this for food. Those who got that hustler fund. So what are you talking about? He goes ahead and says, you can't hire incompetent psychopaths and get extraordinary results. Half of Ruto's cabinet are operating beyond their depth. Ruto is supposedly the brightest of all of them. And just because he is calculating politician doesn't make him a good leader. Bullying, concession, threats, and intimidations are not leadership qualities. It is a good behavior. Ruto should resist sounding like his former boss, who did the same while he carelessly borrowed and left the Kenya more corruption and in deep debt. I mean, that is the truth because, like I say, they keep on blaming the previous government. Unfortunately, the Judicial Service Commission have corrupt members who protect corrupt judges and magistrates. I know of complaints from lawyers and court users that are gathering dust at GSC. Some of GSC staff and the commissioner will leak evidence submitted to them in person being investigated, to be continued in the comments. And of course, people had a lot to say. And personally, I have mad respect for this kind of activist because it's the way he pours his life outside. And I love something he said. One thing we keep on discussing here, and which literally made me like super proud of being who I am as a journalist. I'm not scared of death. That is one thing he said. Because when he posted about the Meru journalist and exposing that image, because nobody saw, I don't know how many saw this image, because Citizen, I'm so certain, waonyeshi, KTN waonyeshi, all these controlled medias don't show that. They won't show. But this guy is the way he's literally dedicating his life and keeping Kenyans aware of the kind of system you're dealing with, where freedom of expression is a no-no. Where if the government is checked or your leader is checked, he claims that this system is corrupt now. Why won't you first accept that you took over the leadership, that you do not want to change the system how it has been working, but instead you've been making the situation much more worse. The whole world right now, most of the black people who understand politics of what is happening in the continent, outside the continent, are talking about how Ruto is a traitor, how Ruto is a sellout. We're talking about people, we're talking about brain chips right now of the new babies. You no longer need CGD birth certificate. You need your baby brain chips. Do you know what you're talking about? It is crazy. It is crazy. I see Mabawa vocals, Karibu Sari saying only Kikuyu and Kale don't see. No, man. Somehow, this one I'm asking, this tribalistic bullshit, imewasaidiaje sasa? Because I remember very well. When we had the people celebrating the winning of Ruto's election, which we know is not election, it is selection, these people are celebrating. It's like when the economic crisis are going to be souring, they're going to be favored. Now, I mean, look at us right now. We're suffering the same level, the same situation. When we're going to demonstrate, say, because TikTok, I think, reveals so much that the media won't. We have so many videos that you won't see on the mainstream media, on YouTube. People are complaining. People are really complaining. The economy has gotten worse since this guy took over. And as I heard yesterday, people highly criticized him for coming out and saying that we have corrupt judges and that the opposition and the cartels are the one. Who is the cartel right here? That is the biggest question we need to ask ourselves. Until we get to these corrupt judges, who elected them? Because remember very well. Remember very well when Ruto got into the seat, he changed a lot. I think he changed the judiciary, if I'm not wrong. I'm not certain, but I think he did. And this is what he's calling corrupt right now because they won't work for him. Because people are woke enough to understand what is happening. Now he's saying it is corrupt. He changed the whole cabinet secretary, if I can remember. Like, he changed a lot in the office because he wants everything to fall under his favor. Now you talk about corruption. Africans and Kenyans, Africans where we are, we need to wake up and understand who we are dealing with. This is just like Boniface Mwangi said, these are psychopaths. Because these people are dealing with psychopaths also who rule the continent. I don't know if you get it. These are psychopaths who are controlled by psychopaths, those who control the continent. We need to wake up. Thank you so much, Mabawa Vocals, for following the host. I appreciate. And shout out to everyone with us on YouTube. Karibuni sana. We're talking about Ruto and what is happening, and I'd love to hear your review about this as I get to move on to the next, discussion. The next discussion is about Rwanda, and this is something very, very similar again that we keep on discussing when it comes to Africa. Yesterday, I think we were having a discussion of where, that was on, no, I didn't share that. I was to share this, but there's something I was looking at on, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, when it comes to the drug addiction, the drug safety concerns when it comes to Africa, where we have people now misusing drugs and all that. And of course, the biggest highlight of it is what happened in 2022 in Gambia, where we had 70 children dying because of a cough syrup that was founded and, of course, imported back in the continent and ended up killing 70 children. What the U.S. government and the Indian government did, and the WHO, they came out trying to fund the parents of these children, but they said no. We saw that the Indian government came around, took over the investigation and said that they're going to conduct this in their country. A few weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, I did report again where a pharmaceutical was being accused of tampering with the investigation of the cough syrup that killed majority of the children back in Africa. So what is happening? Because I said towards that we know that it's been a year since we've been discussing this. There's no justice that has been found towards these victims who suffered this, or the parents who lost their children. And the same thing, I see it happening because I discussed it again when you talk about corruption, where we have things always going on, or the system not working correctly because of the people who are in the system. Rwanda has recalled Kenya. The health authorities in Rwanda have recalled bunches of antifungal tablets made in Kenya over safety concerns. Made in Kenya. Since when did Kenya start producing medication? I want to just understand that. Are we talking about My Dawa, which is funded by Bill Gates? What are we talking about? I mean, since when did Kenya? I mean, I know we do have a company that produces medications, but how developed are we to understand what we're doing if it is not still by the rules of the Mzungu? Why wouldn't we have Africans and engaging into traditional ways of healing? Why wouldn't we use herbal medication like I taught you guys last year some time back? That is what Africans we need to start going back to. Majority of the diseases we're suffering actually or going through is because of the same medications we expect them to help us. They won't. They are meant to make us even much worse. But yes, the health authorities in Rwanda have recalled batches of antifungal tablets made in Kenya over safety concerns. In a statement, the Rwanda Food and Drug Authority instructed importers to return all batches of 200 milligrams fluconazole tablets manufactured by Univaral Corporation at Kenyan company. It also ordered all retailers and health facilities to stop the distribution of the drug and return them to suppliers. This followed an earlier notification from the authority, which alerted the Kenyan manufacturer of discoloration in the tablets. According to the RFDA, which is the the Rwanda Food and Drug Authority, 4 bulk batches of pink fluconazole, 200 milligram tablets imported into the country, had a white discoloration after a short shelf life. Well, basically what I'm trying to understand with this, one, and this when we talk about Africa cooperation, which is what I'm about to get into, what Giorgia Meloni is talking about. Africa, we need to start cooperating with each other. We have, again, traditional healers who are still very much tapped into the ancestral ways of curing our diseases. I share this from South Africa, and I translated it as easy as I could. If you can try, go back to a video where I shared about herbs and look at what I shared over there, where this woman are speaking about before they get to heal any kind of diseases, they get the messages from the ancestors through dreams, and then from there they can be able to help someone who's in pain or someone who needs help. That is what they said. And they also shared many different herbs we have that can cure, stomach ache, headaches, fatigue. If you feel fatigued, any type of literally body pain, body ache you have, we have herbs that can cure you. Shout out to John Mosquito, karibu sana, I see you. Hi, hello to you too, and good morning, rather good afternoon from my end. So why is it that Africa cannot be able to cooperate together, especially with our system? If this government, again, it was meant to work the way they claim when they're making manifestos, they should go into deeper roots by first when you speak about changing Afrocentric school, putting in Afrocentric school, changing the mentality of people where we need to stop depending on this kind of drugs, because you've already changed the system of education. It's where now you're installing the culture, the true culture of Africans. And then through that, go deeper as you look for ways on how you can improve, or develop your hospitals. And stop going to India and spending a lot of bunch of money. Try look for traditional people, women who are still much tapped into this information. Invest in them, invest in this information, and do not allow no white man to get involved. This is all Africa mentality, all Africa knowledge. Us instilling and using it so that it can work for us. I don't know if I'm making sense, if I'm speaking to someone. I feel like I'm preaching. Once the government does this, we can be able to come up with so many, trust me, and you not see even Africans suffering anymore, or us having to go to India to spend a lot of money so that we can get cured for different type of diseases. And this is what you see when it comes to matters of trust now. This is what the European countries have managed to do. Because what we're reporting right here, whereby Rwanda has recalled Kenya because of producing medications that literally might ruin a lot of lives. And I'm very, very respectful of how Rwanda is very keen on safety concerns of what is coming in the country. What majority of these systems have failed, because this is what led to the situation of 70 children dying because of not checking the safety concerns before the distribution of drugs. Shout out to Rwanda. Shout out to Rwanda. That is amazing. We have ministers of health who have been given their jobs, but you know what? These people are just waiting for their balloon stomachs to come up as they keep on pocketing money. Came in skinny, but now you're moving on with a very big pot-bellied stomach. How did you get here? How did you become so healthy? We're in the same country. Well, how are you doing so well and I'm not? Someone is not doing their job. Someone ain't doing their job. So simply and basically what I'm trying to say is that when you speak about cooperation, what Giorgia Meloni is about to talk about and what I'm about to break down, Africa needs to cooperate with each other. You do not need outsiders if it is not for development or any knowledge that is going to make you develop, and you must be wise as you're given this knowledge. Yes, you're giving me information. Are you trying to benefit from me? That is what we're trying to understand with Russia right now, with what it's doing in Burkina Faso, in Niger, and Mali. You're helping me with this knowledge that we've been denied for centuries, for decades. You're putting now these skills and making this happen in my country. I no longer need to go back to anyone else because I have it here right now. But how are you looking forward to benefit? Africa needs to cooperate with itself, with each other. We need each other. We need to unite. The divide and conquer is happening because of this kind of nonsense. Because how is Rwanda supposed to trust Kenya ever again? That is how they do it without us thinking. Without us, it's very simple and we think it's not. These people do it very simple to make us not divide and for these leaders to even have trust issues amongst each other. This is why you see breaking of the borders is just a debate that will never happen. Because it's a failed organization. There's no any plans on how we want to tackle issues, how we want to cooperate. It is super crazy. Think about it, heavily about it. But that is my second debate on this topic. But of course, as we get into the major focus of the day, what Giorgia Meloni said, I want to highlight just strictly a little bit on what is happening in South Africa. Now, the US government, that is yesterday, they say that the South African court case accusing Israel of genocide is meritless. That is what they said. And the US has dismissed the South Africa case against Israel at the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. And South Africa urged that Israel is committing genocide acts against Gaza in the case filed at the ICJ that was last week. And they quote and say, as patents, the United States, we are not seeing any act of constitutes genocide. That is the U.S. Department spokesperson, Matthew Miller, that gave this information on Wednesday, and adds, but there are military operations going on that put Palestinian people at risk. That is what they add. So basically what they are trying to say is that they don't want to accept that genocide is being committed, but this is what is happening, and this is why they are literally shamming out all the accusations. Karibu sana Kip.
Asante sana. That's exactly what it is. Genocide. And America is a vassal state of Israel. Good, a lot of you white people starting to wake up in America realize you're a vassal state of Israel. How is it that 90% of the people in power in America are Israeli, have dual citizenship with Israel? How's that even possible? Oh, because you all bribed and bought off because they own the bank. Nobody, and then you got an elite. I told you, a lot of you guys are waking up too. I told you, you guys got understand how deep this shit is. When you get people that seem like they're anti-establishment, but they're not. They're anti-establishment, like a Tucker Carlson, a fake ass Alex Jones, as if they're speaking against the establishment, but they're not, because the elite learned a long time ago that okay, we must now create our own narrative that's kind of speaking against us, but only can go a certain way, so people won't come up from the ground roots, the grassroots, and overthrow us. So now they put all their agents in to pretend like they're speaking against them when they're actually not. So that's what we got going on now. They're having the whole thing of deception. Like I said, because the key thing is Zionist. You ask these other people supposedly fighting against the government, fighting against the cabal and the Illuminati. Are you against Zionism? Oh no, I'm not against Zionism. I like Zionism. I'm not against that. You're not? People that own the banks, you're not against that ideology, the killing of innocent people. So clearly, America is an open genocide in Palestine right now. I mean, the murder of innocent women and children. I heard the other day, and not even in just Gaza, because remember, you also got the West Bank that the Palestinians are living over there. These Israeli soldiers took a 13-year-old child. I want you to understand what I'm saying. The whole society is psychopathic. These are the super psychopaths that run the planet. Now, I want you to listen to this. It's not going to be on any mainstream news. The IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, abducted She's not even in Gaza. She's in the West Bank. They're not supposed to be at war with the West Bank. They abducted a 13-year-old Palestinian child, and they gang raped this child, family. Gang raped her. And where they gang raped her, they went in her vaginal area and her anal area. We know what the anal is, we know what the vaginal. Gang raped her, she almost died. They gang raped her. They told her if she would tell anybody, it was going to come back and get her 9-year-old sister and do it to her. You imagine how wicked these people, but these are people that run this planet. So the war crimes are not being said on the news nowhere. You're getting gaslighting and lying. And so when they threw her ass back up at her family's house, the father had to rush her to the hospital. Whether she survived or not, don't know. But you imagine the psychological trauma this 13-year-old child's going to grow up, if she has a chance to grow up. And then you got the fake Israelis, the lying-ass Israelis, the Jews, making these fake donation campaigns. Oh, please help the Jews. They're being killed by the Palestinians. They found babies in ovens. They're cooking babies. They're cooking babies and beheading. Remember, they were beheading babies alive. But they're raising millions of dollars of these other dumb white people who believe these fake war atrocities that are lies. Got one group raised like $60 million off of lies. They cooking babies in stoves and all. But nothing's gonna be done. Nothing's gonna be done to these people. Nothing.
Crazy. It's crazy. And this, of course, we know that they are funding the war. We know a lot of that the US government is doing is just super crazy. And now I think the rest of the world understands what is happening. We'd be, especially back in the continent, if we're still thinking that, the US is a no good friend, especially back to us in the continent, who we see them collaborating with our puppets in different deals. We need to be very conscious. These people are promoting that. These people are promoting and funding weapons. And that is what has been happening in the continent. All this terrorism, the Hegelian dialectic is all about them. It's all them. And this is why they're so quick to information. They're so quick to destroy, especially because it's Israel. And we know that the mainstream media is controlled by who? Who control all these socials of information?
Show them.
So that's why.
And understand, exactly what Joby said. Understand that see, we got that Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson. These are all CIA plants. Like they're trying to work the narrative, trying to create a counter narrative. See, how do you make sure you don't have people uprise? You fund the opposition, so you create a fake movement of people. Oh, we're fighting against the cabal and the government, when they're not. They're only allowed to say certain amount of things like you believe they're fighting or not. They're part of the establishment. And so when they said, oh, we found a back door into Twitter, into YouTube. Hold on, Joe, let me finish this. They said they found a back door. I mean, a back door means a way the government controls all your social media. It's called a back door. There was never any back door because the government was the one who created the CIA. But they have Elon Musk come out. Oh, now he got Twitter. He's fighting against. He's going to put free speech there. Have you believe that something is going to change, but it's not? Because the back doors are still there, but the government comes in and censors people talking. That's why our numbers are falling off the cliff. That's on purpose. And Twitter was honest and say, yeah, you get to have free speech. Just because you have free speech don't mean you'll have free reach. So your content will be blocked. You'll be muzzled. You'll be shadow banned. Because now the powers that be are upset because you have a great awakening happening. So now they're putting out you have now false freedom fighters. I told you about Alex Jones' fake ass. Right? He never wants to talk about this. He'll say everything bad about black people. It's how I want you to settle this, because everything's about black people, right? Oh, I love you. He'll say the fake shit. I love everybody, black, white, and it's everybody I love. But the the black people are fucked up. They're hurting white people. But I love everybody. But it's just the truth. And then when somebody comes up and say, what about the Zionists? Oh, it ain't the Jews. It ain't the Zionists. They own the bank. They get the print money from nothing. They're the ones causing these terrorists. There's genocide in Gaza. There's more things to that. We got to talk about the deep state and the globalists. You see, he'll say nonsense shit. Global. What a globalist? He can't say the Zionist because he's fake opposition. Like Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox. Yeah, it's called fake opposition.
I'm looking forward to see what South Africa will come out and say about this, because I'm certain they'll have a response. That is Cyril Ramaphosa, and we'll be here to keep you updated. But
what
the
they do? Did they take
of the day.
Hold on, Joby. Did they take it to the criminal? We know that's a false thing. Did they take it to the ICC, International Criminal Court?
No. They took it to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ.
Okay, well, same thing. Okay, that must be some other one. I don't know where that one's at. That might be the same thing. So, and then America, of course, America has been a puppet of the Zionists, because all your people are Zionists inside your government, America. Your whole Congress is bought and paid for. The Rothschilds run this country. You better believe it. That's why. And you morons screaming, Trump, Trump, Trump. Trump signed the bill, which is unconstitutional. See, same thing happening in Kenya, it's happening all over the world now. Where you think America, we're supposed to have freedom of speech. That's part of the Constitution here. First Amendment. But told you, Trump is a Zionist too. All his kids are Zionists. His daughter's a Zionist. His daughter's married to one of the damn Zionists. So you think Trump gonna go get his own family? Understand that what you're seeing is a theater with with Biden and Trump. Either one get in, the Zionists still win. So you think you're gonna change anything through a vote? That's the scam. Vote never change anything, because both parties, both political systems, whether you're in Kenya, America, are run by the people that run the planet. It's all fake. Unless you're coming up from the ground and getting in the streets, as somebody showed, in America, we've been completely lulled down to sleep, because the powers that be, the Zionists, understood that the Americans were too smart back in the, I told you, I know everything changed when I was born. I would go back and look at old videos, read old books. I said, we've done something's not right. Like when Joey played the video, you know, the sports video, you see the way Jesse Owens talked back then, that's 1930, how eloquent, how you can understand what he's saying. And today, most black people talk, yeah, what you be doing? What we be saying? How we be doing that? What be happening, y'all? You're like, what? 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 You're like, what? How did you go from that almost 100 years ago to what we are today? That's an agenda. That's why you must have the levels of discernment. This is an agenda. We're dumb as shit. Because remember, Jesse Owens came from poverty, but he carried himself distinguishedly. You got the average black person today is an absolute moron. And America, like, what? So I said, this got to be an agenda. There's no way we go from 1930 talking like this to now everything is, you can't imagine it. Like, what is going on? So, what you laugh about, Joby? Go ahead.
What you're talking about, I understand from the video. Yeah. Things you can't understand.
Yeah, so understand that they dumbed us down, and they also made sure that they would have fake over. Remember, everything was communism, America. We're fighting the communism, which is a lie. Everything's the Russian when they controlled Russia too. So it was always a lie to make sure the rich got richer, poor stayed poor, and now that's what you see the contributing factor of. Now they're really scared of a worldwide revolution because nobody got shit. Everybody's starving. See, it was okay when a third world like Africa was starving. Yeah, that niggas, so what? That's them. We ain't got, they starving. That ain't us. So now everybody's in the same damn, everybody's Africa now, damn it. I don't care if you're living in London, England, America, but everybody's Africa. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's like, damn, I'm working all these jobs and I still can't eat, can't pay my bills. Yeah, yeah. You got Kay Williams out there. I think that brother working like 3 jobs. Like, damn, Kay, it's rough, brother. Good luck. He's on WhatsApp. Hey, family, I'm leaving my second job. I got to get up, go home, sleep for 3 hours, and be back in the morning at my other job. God damn. Because you can't pay the bills. Don't have enough money. This is where we're at. So go ahead, Joby.
Yeah. But yes, as we get into the media focus of the day, I wanted us to talk about Giorgia Meloni. And I want us to refer back to a few years ago where we had a video that went viral of him accusing France for exploiting Burkina Faso. And of course, in different African countries like Congo, where we have children and people being displaced because of the exploitation of resources. But today, I think a few hours ago, she came out with a statement speaking about how Africa, what it doesn't require is not charity, it is all about cooperation. But when you talk about cooperation, I think for so long we've had this as a debate. We've seen how many African countries, how many of these fake leaders who are in the continent, when they go to this UN National Summit or all these summits that they always go to, they always talk about how we need to cooperate. How has Africa ever benefited from the cooperations that we've signed with other different countries like China, France, British, or the Britain?
Absolutely none.
None, exactly. So what Giorgia Meloni is saying that they say that Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni told her European Union partners that actually you're talking about European Union partners. Partners. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni told the European Union partners, that was yesterday, that curbing migration flows from African countries has less to do with offers of charity than strong partnership coupled with strategic investment in those nations. Meloni told reporters at a year-end news conference that last month's deal on the EU's migration and asylum pact partially improved in the situation for Italy and other asylum countries, but does not represent a solution to increasing migrant arrival. Then I do remember there's a time, actually last week, I did read of Italy accepting 1,500 migrants, that is from the continent. And I did question this. I said, and I was looking at a couple of videos, reviews of so many African people who are in Italy, talking about racism, talking about how full of racism this country is. But we had always have a coon. I found this video. Let me share it very quickly. We once had a black representative, a black minister, the first black minister, that was I think 10 years ago, and she came out and spoke of she did Africans racism in Italy. I'm not sure how factual this is, but majority of the videos I've seen that. I want to share this very quickly as I get to read what the rest of the article is saying. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. All right, there we go. So she's the first black prime minister. I think this was 10 years ago when she was appointed as prime minister. Came out, dismissing the claims of where black people face racism.
Barrage of insults since becoming one of 7 women in the new government. The Italian citizen, originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo, was named Integration Minister by Prime Minister Enrico Letta.
Di colore, io sono nera.
I'm not colored. I'm black. It's important to say that. I emphasize it proudly. We need to break down these walls. If you don't know someone, skepticism increases. Discrimination increases.
Sorsa.
minister has received taunts from far-rights as well as very
MC, thank you so much for following the host.
coalition as a bongo government and said Kigali would make a good
She was told I think by fellow black people that should only make a good wife, not a good black prime minister. And I do agree, because I think she just did that to prevent the position that she has. Because I think this week we discussed of when black people, black women, especially the black community, when it comes to this kind of positions, if you don't do what this white supremacy wants you to do, if you don't become a coon or act like one, you're going to end up losing your position. They either going to oppress you, depress you to it, or you either walk out. And what you can see from this first black prime minister of Italy is that she was a coon, and she just did what she had to do to maintain her position. And this is why you see the black people in Italy did condemn her for what she said, saying that there's no racism in Italy, and that you only judge someone because you don't know them. We need to understand Africans again. Enough of the lies. None of these people are our friends. So as much as we have Giorgia Meloni here saying that, she says that what needs to be done in Africa is not charity. What needs to be done is Africa to build cooperation and serious strategic relationships as equals, not predators. How many times have we had this discussion on board? So many times. Them speaking of we need to have equality, but it is always the same history, always time come, time go. Nothing changes when it comes to African people. Now, the solution and the only way to solve this is where we, the people, especially we, the majority understanding, like I said, we are being guided and led by people, not only, just like Boniface Mwangi said from this article I was reading, they have become psychopaths who are being led by psychopaths who control the continent. We have
somebody said that? Somebody admitted that, Joey? Like I told you, that's right. You got exactly. That's exactly it. Whoever wrote that is learning. That's exactly right, Joe. Exactly. That's right. Museveni's a psychopath. Ruto's a psychopath. Kagame's a psychopath, Joe.
Yeah, Ruto has been called a psychopath because he's calling judges corrupt, and cartels. And my question was, who is a cartel here? If we try to look as a country, who is the corrupt person, and who chose these corrupt people to be on the seat? It was you. Now, because they're not working working towards your achievements, which is saying that they are trying to collect
they're not doing this complete bidding. I never knew that. I got to learn how the Kenyan system works, because a president shouldn't have the right to put any judges on the seat or take them off the seat. That's supposed to be parliament.
They shouldn't, and they don't. But apparently they do. Apparently only Ruto and the rest of these people who were selected get to do that. It gets to happen. I mean, if they can appoint their children to become ministers of finance and all that, what can they do?
Yeah, but that's part of his cabinet. Okay, that would be something he can do, even though it's corrupt. But that would be in his power, because that would be his cabinet. But a judge, no, the judge is supposed to be appointed by the parliament, because the parliament's supposed to represent the people of the country.
He said he doesn't care, and he's going to do what he's going to do. But on this case of Giorgia Meloni,
then he's a rogue president. Then he's illegal. He's a despot. Then.
Well, shout out to those who selected him, Manze. But on this case of Giorgia Meloni, what I'm gonna say, it is back to us Africans and the continent itself, because, like, I'm speaking about cooperation. We need to cooperate with each other. And I was giving a perfect example with what I read about what is happening in Rwanda. What happened yesterday in Nigeria, where we have so many organizations being closed that are supposed to help us. I'm supposed to be able to work freely in Kenya, be able to get help from Kenya or Nigeria because I'm African. But because of our corruption has taken part and control of the continent, it is becoming so hard for institutions and governments to trust each other, because this is a divide and conquer mission that we don't understand is happening. When one system fails or does something to affect the other country, that already is creating enmity, because there's no way you're going to give me something that is attacking my people and I'm supposed to trust you. You bring in diseases or medications that are going to tamper with my people's health, that is Rwanda, and you expect me to trust you next time? Of course not. So Africans, we need to, like I said, if these leaders were serious, they should invest in their people, because we have skilled people. We have people who are so intelligent. When it comes to medication, we have traditional healers who are still so much connected to ancestral ways of living. Invest in these people, make your hospitals better.
The Europeans have made that illegal in Africa, Joker. Because the Europeans they made that illegal, and also understand the development. That's why no drugs are developed in Africa, because they want you to go buy from them. Go buy their. See, everything in Africa is to prop up the European system and make them money of being parasites to Africa and African people. That's why there are no drug manufacturing companies in Africa. Why? But common sense say, okay, well, I got my own people. I need to create my own medicine to treat my own people. Europeans said no. No. Like, what do you mean no? I'm a grown-ass man. That answers, I'm going to do it regardless. So
this comes back to us, because we're the ones who suffer the consequence of the decision-making of these puppets, because they make the decision on our behalf, which we're not involved. We end up suffering the consequences. So it is up to us to form unity, and again, which we talk about, and I discussed it again yesterday, organize. We cannot move without any organization. We cannot move without any plan. You just wake up and talk like Museveni again. You talk like Museveni, you're done. You can wake up like Museveni today, you're making a speech of the whole continent, giving a round of applause. Tomorrow you wake up a cool again, you're like, were you sleep talking? Or what was happening? Because that's what Museveni does all the time. And the rest of these puppets, 1 minute is a speech that literally compliments the whole continent. The next minute is something that you don't want to even talk about again. So we need to come and have a plan, organize on how we can make the continent move forward. And that is what Burkina Faso, Mali are doing by uniting.
The United, and family. Don't think the Europeans, don't think the powers that be, I forgot about Maui, Burkina Faso. They're now worried right now about killing off the damn the Palestinians. They're going to circle around, because this is a threat to African power, to them controlling Africa. Because as they see African unity happening, the other countries in Africa are going to say, hey, how the hell is Burkina Faso and Mali and them now? Weren't they the poorest countries in Africa? Now, they're all three of them are united. They're building schools. They're building wells. What the hell's going on? So they're going to have to be attacked. They're going to have to eventually be attacked. So because the sanctions didn't work. You see Benin and Togo saying, okay, that us having sanctions against this hurt our economy. Yeah, because they made a deal with Morocco to import things from the coast of Morocco, and don't use you goofy Negroes. So, yeah.
So we need to be conscious. We need to be conscious. We need to be careful of the decisions we're making. And that is my closing remarks of today's show and topic. For those who have missed out the rest of the conversation,
let me ask you a question, Joe. You can answer your phone. You can answer my text on your phone.
My phone is in the bedroom. I like charging.
Well, that's your fault. Anyway, go check your phone. I also sent you something that you needed for today. Like 3 hours ago.
Yeah. So thank you.
So people say, hey, get your ass out of here. Anyway, how the new girl do?
She's good. Actually, I like her personally. I liked her energy. I think she just needs to build her confidence up, and we should gonna help her doing it, because truth be told, it's not like we came here also perfect. It's always starts with growing. You need to be given a chance. If of course you don't grow, we're gonna have to let you go. That's just the truth. But I'm willing to give her room, and
God damn.
Yeah.
God damn. God damn.
Yeah, I'm willing to give her a room of growing and
God
learning.
Damn. Wow.
And I think she's gonna work well with Pavin, because they're both very chill people. Like, not
okay, because I know because I couldn't see her on the app. 'Cause Katie didn't have a camera on either. But I was thinking about when we hired Katie. Katie and how confident Katie is now talking to the girl. I went back. I remember how shy Katie was. How scared she was. Scared to talk. Scared to say anything. People like, what? Pick up. We can't hear you, Katie. What are you saying? I remember Big Cheese was there when Katie was Katie's interview. Big Cheese was there, and could nobody hear Katie. She was just as scared as that girl was. Like, what? We can't hear what you're saying. Speak up, shit. But
move with confidence. Always move with confidence. You know, we call it kihere right here in Kenya. Like, just move with all the, you know, what you were telling me earlier. Like, you know, just you go in being yourself. Like, you talk to your fellow friends. Don't be scared.
Yeah, talk to friends. Don't be scared. Well, then when you come out of school, you've been in a school environment your first time out, so I understand it. 23, young, so I get it. But we got another young lady coming in Wednesday.
Yeah, and I got mine who's gonna come on Friday, so I think I'll interview him. Yeah, that is for journalism purposes. But anyway, family.
You think your interview when? Friday, what time?
In the evening. I'll interview her in the evening. Just wanted me and her. Yeah.
Damn. All right.
Yeah. Much love, family. See you guys later on the Africa Today show. And of course, thank you so much for being with us throughout the week. It's been an amazing conversation. I've enjoyed this one, debating on Ruto, on Rwanda, on US, and of course on Giorgia Meloni. I hope Africans, you take a note on this. And of course, claim your victory because you deserve it. Nonetheless, thank you so much, Kit, for tuning in. And to Byron Scott, nice to see you on in show. And thank you, Joa Mosquito, and amazing listeners who've been popping in. Asante sana. See you guys when you see me tonight. Much love. Keep why you texted me right now again. What's up?